All right, we are back from, this is kind of designed to follow right after that last video of how to import a data set. So this is assuming we've gotten the data set into R. And now before we do anything with it, this is just a quick video of showing you how how to explore that data set, kind of get a quick feel of what's in there, what you might want to do with it, right? So you see over here, we have this line right here at 13. That has imported our data set, which was in a CSV, and now it has brought it into R. If we want to see what it actually looks like, you can see over on the right here, where it usually lists all our variables, it says we have data over there in the form of loans. It says there's 50 observations, I can see right there. So that means there are 50 rows, there's 50 observations in here. If I want to get a little bit of a more easy visual of what that looks like, I can click on loans right here, and that is going to bring up a nice little table of what it looks like, right? So it's showing me each row is an observation. These are this data set is a set of loans that people took out with a bank with information about those, right? So each row is a loan, and each column is a variable about that loan. And I can see here that I have the state that it was loaned from, the number of months in the term, what kind of home ownership they have, income, things like that. So I can scroll to the right. I'm not going to do much in here. This is just a nice way of looking at it to see, is this what I expected the data to look like? If I open this up here and this had information about Kim Kardashian's Instagram, then obviously I imported the wrong thing, right? But this looks good. So I'm going to close this. I could leave it open and just switch over and work in my code, but I am a neat freak, so I'm going to go ahead and clean that. All right, so I'm going to go back down here, and I'm going to look at some things I can do with this. I'm going to go Control-Alt-I, and that's going to bring me, make a new chunk of code for me to write in, right? I could just as easily click up here on Insert Chunks and say Insert a new R chunk, but I like to feel special and use these little hotkeys on there. Okay, so here's my new code chunk. So real quick, three or four code functions that are really going to help you here. One of them is what's called the it's called str, which stands for structure, right? So I'm going to say structure of my loans, and I'm going to go ahead and put that, and then I can go ahead and run this and say run the current code chunk, and then it is going to give me this information. Again, I haven't really done anything. This is just exploring and see what I have. So this is now listing on the left there all the different variables that I have: state, EMP length, which I'm not exactly sure what that is. I have to look that up, the term, and that might be something important. Okay, that's a variable. What does it mean? I got to go back to who gave me the data and see what it means. And then that second column there that says CHRINT, that is telling me what are the variable types, right? So in state, it's saying state is a character type. So it just thinks those are just words. NJ, CA, it doesn't realize that those are states, right? So we'll talk later about how to tell it, oh, those aren't just random words, those are states, and there's only certain numbers of them. It's a categorical variable. But that's what this is doing, is it's saying, here's my variable name, here is what R currently thinks the type of each one of those variables are, and we'll have to tell it if it's right or wrong. And then the last part is just a quick summary of what kind of values you see in there, right? It says, hey, state is NJ, CA, home ownership is rent, mortgage, annual income. There's some examples of the number, right? So a quick kind of overview of what you might do in there. Another one that you're going to use a lot is summary, right? So summary, and I'm going to say summary of loans again, because that is up at line 13, what I named this data set. And so if I run that, what summary does is kind of like this str, the structure, only rather than giving you just what the type is, it gives tries to give a little summary of each one, right? So for state, it can't do a whole lot because it says, hey, it's just a character and it's 50 characters long. And other than that, I don't know anything about it. Things that it thinks are numbers, like term, then it's going to give you some nice summary statistics on there, right? So the third one there, it says term. The minimum term is 36 months. The maximum term is 60 months. It's a 5-year loan. And then it gives you some things about the mean, the median, and the quartiles that we'll talk about later in the lesson or in other lessons. Once I change some of those things, like the state, to tell it that it's a categorical, it will then give me better summary statistics. Instead of just saying, hey, it's 50 long and they're characters, I don't know anything else, it'll say, hey, there's 50 different categories, one for each state, and it'll give you a little summary about how many are in each one, right? So this is a quick summary of all that data. Another thing you might want to do is something called the head, right? So the head, if I say head, and then I say my loans in here, and I run that, it's going to give you saying, hey, here is the top, in this case, it just grabbed the top 6, right? Of saying, here's what the top 6 observations look like. For a state, and you can see up at the top here, there's a little arrow to scroll through all of them to see what they are. If I want to see more than 6, I can say head and then loans and then say 10, and then it will give me the top 10, right? So this is if I want to say, hey, was this the right set? Is it open? Maybe I look in here, oh, South Carolina, that third one, that's doesn't have anything for emp length. Maybe that's important, maybe it's not, I don't know. Similarly, if I want to see what the end of this is, surprisingly, instead of head, I can say tail and run that, and that'll give me the last 10, which is helpful A, to see the data, but also I can see there are only 50 in this data set, because the last 10, the very last observation in here is the 50th observation. That's what that first column is ordering that by there. So in here, we gave just some quick explanation. We haven't done anything with the data yet, but we did a kind of quick look around of, what does it look like? What do I have in there? Giving me some quick structure. What does R think these variable types are? What are some summary statistics of them? And what does the beginning and the end of that set look like? Next videos, maybe we'll start manipulating a little bit, but this is important to kind of start looking at. I imported the data. Is it what I need? All right. Like I said, Prom's trying to keep these short, so I'll be done there, and I will see you guys in the next video.